Well, I don't know about you, but I think the financial services industry is probably one of the least human industries in our country. Yeah. And it's maybe because they're making so much money. That's all they think about is money, money, money. But actually, what's happening in financial services, only about 4% of the people in our country work in financial services, but they're responsible, listen to this, for 25% of all the corporate profits in this country come from only 4% of the people. That's financial services. So they're making a ton of dough. But now what's important about that, though, is when things are, people making so much money, people are going to be smart enough to figure out ways they can get a piece of that money by doing it better, faster, cheaper. And that's what's happening, with the internet. So now we have banks that aren't banks, and they're giving you services that are cheaper. This is what the internet's all about. The cloud, things like that. It's eliminating a lot of back office space and complications that we usually have when dealing with organizations, and they put it on the cloud and eliminate a lot of the things, the complications. So that makes it more profitable for the average person because they're able to reduce prices, and cut out the middleman. So if your middleman now, if your bank is just a website, then it's like two people running that thing. So let me tell you about banks, non-traditional banks that are in this country, that are not the traditional, the big Bank America and Chase and Wells Fargo and all these people that you read in the paper that they're, practically stealing money from people. But these small organizations and new organizations are options. So you should be aware about them. They're banks now that give out grants. That's right. Grants. Yeah. There are banks that give out 0% loan. 0% loan. Now, how is that poor banker going to make a payment on his yacht if we're not paying him money? They figure that out. But there's ways to do it because a lot of these banks now are in it for other reasons, not just to make a ton of dough, but to help people and help our communities better. So also there's banks that invest in your real estate too. That's right, just banks that invest in real estate. This is all on the internet. And banks that, listen to this, that are better, faster, and nicer. So they're not going to tie you into the railroad tracks if you can't pay the mortgage, that kind of stuff. Okay, here they are. Let me go through. And this is a report that I have for Lesko Help members. So if you're a member, just ask for this report. Nicer banks, what you want to know about. Nicer banks. If you're not a member, that's okay. But watch this because you can find this stuff and take a little bit of work. Now, here's some of the organizations that do it. And they're really nonprofit organizations now are becoming banks. So if you want a loan at 0% interest, Kiva, KIVA.org. That's a place for you. Or here's another one, real low interest loans for people who can't get money at banks. That's what these organizations are for. You can't get money at a bank, and it's called Action, ACCION. Okay, that's another nonprofit. Okay, here's another one, GramierAmerica.org. Okay, this is another non-bank. They have loans up to $1,500 for entrepreneurs. Okay, that means you can't get it anywhere else. Now, here's something that some of the big banks are into too, but it's called individual retirement accounts. So this is where a bank gives you a grant. And actually, they're not giving it to you. They're getting it from the government to give to you. So they're passing it through these, and you get a grant, and it's actually in your savings account. It's for doing things like saving for a business or an education or a house and things like that. And if you put in $1, they'll put in like $2 or $4, $5, or whatever it is. It varies all over. And here's an organization. It's part of it. It's a program at the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and there's banks all over the world, all over the country that do that. And so you just have to find a bank near you that does that. And that's available to people. Okay, and there's another group of banks called community banks. Actually, what you want to do, here's the prosperitynow.org. That's for the banks that give you grants. Now, they don't have every grant bank because I keep running into them that they don't. So if you don't find one in your area, what to do is you call your community action agency. That's a good place to start to find out about these. Now, there's two organizations that list all the community development financial institutions, and this is what the government has set up to help communities. So their main job is to help you grow, help you get a business, help you start, not to make money on Wall Street. Okay, so these are different kind of banks, and if you want to find out the banks near you, they have a locator system that you just put ofn.org, and it's CDFI locator. So that's what you're looking for to find those banks. And there's another group of banks like that. They're also community banks, and it's actually where people like Starbucks gives money to, so they could lend to people who can't get it from normal banks. And I have a video here for those who get the report. You'll see how Starbucks giving millions and millions of dollars to these community banks, so they lend to people who can't get the bank, get money anywhere else. And so that's ICBA.org. So that's another organization you want to know about. And I have a video bank here of someone who runs one of these banks, and they tell you how they're really there for the community. Now, let me tell you about peer-to-peer lending. This is very interesting what's going on, particularly for business, for real estate investors, things like that. So this is where you have people put their money not into a bank, but into a website that lends it to people who need money. So it cuts out all that middleman. So instead, if you're a small business and you go to the bank to get money, they'll charge it, say, 10% on the money. Now, what are they getting the money for? A depositor comes to the bank, puts money in the savings account, and they're getting 1%, right? So the bank's getting 10, the person with the money is getting 1, so the bank's getting 9%. So what these peer-to-peer loans is cut out the banks. So what they do, they give you putting money into the system 3%, and they give the person borrowing it 7%. So everybody's a winner, and there's less money for the financial services industry, but everybody else is making more money. Now, also what's happening now, there's ways to get down payment money and real estate money through these peer-to-peer lending things. There's one out in the state of Washington. We'll give you $50,000 for a down payment on your house if you put a room in your house and use it for Airbnb and make money that way. Then you split the money with the person to give you 50 grand. You're getting a cheaper mortgage because it's $50,000 less. You're also getting a cheaper mortgage because you don't have to pay insurance because you got a big down payment. So it works great for everybody. And after they get the money, you keep getting that Airbnb money forever. Now, here's another one called Unison. Now, this is more national in nature, and this is interesting because you can cut your down payment in half. They do the same thing as before. They give you big money for down payment, and then you're saving a ton of go. Here's one just for teachers to do that. So they pay 50% of the down payment. What they're doing, though, on here and on Unison is when you sell your house, they share in the profits. So that's it. So they're giving you a bunch of money up front. You pay lower monthly fees because now you don't have to pay all that. But when you sell your house, they're getting a piece of that. And there's a whole bunch of other programs like that. There's about a half a dozen or a dozen of them that also do that. You could check out. And that's what it is. It's really, going door to door. You knock on a bunch of doors. You just don't take the first thing you see in the internet or whatever and say that's for you. Then I go into a lot of, here's one just for house flipping. So this is a peer-to-peer site that gives you money to buy, flip houses. If you're in that kind of business for house flipper, here's 0% interest loans. This is a little redundant here. Here's one, community source capital. This is a platform that finds people in your neighborhood that wants to invest in your business. Hey, that's sort of neat, right? Because you got somebody local. They know you. They know the business. I have videos on this. Digital lending community. You see, there's a whole bunch of sites like this because you're not getting money from somebody in Wall Street who wants to just pay off their yacht. This is somebody locally is making available money, individuals, but in a platform, not in a big brick and mortar site, to help people locally so they have a better community. So they'll probably even know you and things like that. So that's what's neat about a lot of these loans. There's one here just for young people, recent college grads, because they can't get money because they have no track record, right? Well, this website has money that shows recent college grads are more likely to pay off any kind of loan than anybody else. So that's why they lend it to us. That's why, see, the financial services industry is so old. It's been around for a while. So they're having rules that were made 50 years ago when life is changing. So that's what happens with these websites that lend money. They got different algorithms to decide who's a good payment or not. And better rates, lending club, people, special websites set up. If you have a big credit card debt, you're paying 20%. Well, somebody else will give you the money at 6%, and you get rid of that stuff. And so that's all in the internet. Investment money for small business. Here's one: crowd-funded business loans in 10 minutes and a decision in 24 hours. And that's investors, not banks, make loans to businesses. See, these are investors doing this for you. Personal loans for your friends in the community. And this is interesting too, because see, there's websites now. If you want to let all your friends help you, and lend money, this is a website you could use. So it automatically pays all your friends and everything. So you look like a big shot, and it costs you almost nothing. So to get loans from family and friends and things like that. That's why there's so many ways now, different ways. Here, better, faster, cheaper payday loans. These gangsters that are payday loans, they call them payday loans. They're a fraction of what the other people. So again, go shop, see what it's like, what it is versus what you're using now. Loans from family and friends. Oh, that's the one I was telling you about. It's really just a platform that handles all the stuff. So you look like a big shot. You're asking loan for somebody from your business. You just say, go here, put the money here, then you get automatic payments from me on the website. So that's the way. Investigate cheaper loans that pay off expensive ones. See, that's another one of those. See, all these things are there. And also remember, I just did a report on debt relief companies. And you got to be really careful. The biggest one in the business is now fined for ripping off people $25 million. And if you Google debt relief, you're going to find them right on top. And that's why you're looking for debt relief on the internet. You're just going to find the people who ripping you off because they pay a lot of money to Google to make sure that Google shows you them first. So watch this video so you know how to protect yourself from all that and what's a better option, okay? So that's the story on the financial services industry and all the new stuff that's out there. Nicer banks, better, faster, cheaper, nicer. They even give out grants. Wow.